McLeod Bowman. You're in one person Master Distiller, Master Blender at the Lochranza Distillery in Arran, right?
That's a lot of titles, but yeah, that's the jobs that I do. Yeah.
When did you start there?
I started at Lochranza in November 2021.
Right.
So moved from the Highlands of Scotland up north of Inverness to, pretty much the length and breadth of the country down onto the beautiful island of Arran, which I didn't really know at all before, but I was immediately taken with it. Okay. It's an incredible place.
Yeah. What did you do before that?
Before that, I was the project implementation manager and then distillery manager at Blender Distillery, which is where my family were from. Before that, I was at Clynelish Distillery. So
I see. So you had pretty big shoes to fill there at Arran Distillery, yeah?
Most certainly, yes. James McTaggart was still in the business by the time I arrived, but was looking to retire and had established Arran very well with Ewan Mitchell and Maggie Cornwall, and had really elevated Arran and the whiskey that it made phenomenally. So yes, very big shoes to fill.
Yeah. So you said before when we were talking downstairs that you are looking for consistency in the liquid.
Yeah.
But what of your own ideas were you able to bring into Lochranza and Arran?
So my own ideas that I brought my experience in terms of looking at efficiencies. So I was able to stay true to the character of Lochranza and the heritage, but I was able to just, I guess we would say, sharpen our pencil a little bit, just make us a little bit more efficient. But I didn't have to change too much, to be honest. Lochranza is a really well-oiled machine. I think what I would like to do in the future is do a little bit of experimenting with different types of malt and stuff like that, because that's my background in brewing. I had a lot of fun, and there's so much versatility that you can use in that type of different materials. So it would be a lot of fun.
So since you come from brewing, you must know a lot of different yeasts. Do you think that they are essential for distilling as well? And do they change the flavor?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I think there's some incredible stuff to do. Like, I've always felt that a big Belgian ale strain would work well at Lochranza, or a German Weizen strain would work very well at Lag. Lag have got that kind of peaty phenolic flavor profile. You throw a little bit of cloves and bananas that you get traditionally from Weizen yeast in there. It's a perfect flavor combination. So I think it's about experimenting. Sometimes it might not work, but it would be really fun to try.
You told us about the fermentation at Arran, which is on the first look pretty short. So you have 45 to 40 hours, did you?
Yeah, so the actual fermentation itself is done by about 35 to 40 hours, but we leave the wash in the wash backs until 80 to 85 hours. Once that fermentation's done, that's when we tend to get that secondary fermentation, as you put it, which is the lactic acid bacteria starts to get involved in the process and really just increases and supplements the ester profile that we have in these washbacks, and it helps us to make that fruity character that we look for even bigger and bolder.
We had 3 whiskies in this tasting with you today that are meant for the German market only next year.
Yes.
And 2 I want to ask you about. The first one is with the local barley, the Arran barley. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. It's a really interesting one. So back in 2015, James McTaggart, who was the then distillery manager, struck up a partnership with a local farmer and started to grow barley on Arran, which wasn't a typical grain that was grown out there really on the west coast of Scotland. So grew the barley, got it into storage, got it malted, and then mashed it the kind of following year. And it has created a really interesting spirit, a very different spirit from what we usually do at Lochranza, which is really, really interesting because we don't really know why Like there's no, we're processing it in the same way with the same equipment. But that's one of the wonderful things about distillation is we don't know everything about it. So there's there's a bit of magic involved.
I think it's a different strain than you normally use from the.
Yeah, it's a different strain. So it's Diablo. But we tend to change strains in the distillery every kind of 4 to 5 years naturally. So it was Concerto for a long time, and now it's Laureate. So we don't tend to notice too much flavor differences kind of from that. So it's interesting to see how that Arran barley has affected the whiskey, and it is markedly different. Yeah. Very interesting, a wild stallion, I think you described it as, which I absolutely love. I think that's cool. That's really great.
And the last point I want to touch is the return of a legend, right? Mm-hmm. The 14-year-old.
Yes.
And we tasted that, and it was, wow.
Thank you.
And it was especially the tropical fruits that are so different from. Arran has a very fruity spirit, but not that many tropical fruits. How did it come to that?
I think it's part of the kind of natural evolution of our spirit in casks, and in particular bourbon casks. And it's something that's, we tend to see about the 10 years old, 10 to 14, we start to see those kind of apple, banana, orange flavors morph into more tropical pineapple, mango, papaya, and I don't know why, but it is fairly common to see those casks, and I think it's just a great showcase of what our kind of our aging process does, and it's really fun. And then you overlay that with other expressions like our 18, which has got that tropical fruit in nature, but is more sherry driven as well. So it's maybe kind of lost in some of those more complex flavors. But I think the tropical fruits is a really interesting flavor profile, and I want to give it its place.
So a lot of good things we're looking forward to in the next year.
Yeah.
Still, thank you for the time for the interview.
You're very welcome.
Enjoy your stay in Bad Homburg.
Thank you. Thank you. Dankeschön.